Okay, so the question was, why are we going to have erosion on the CutBank side, and why are we going to have deposition on the PointBar side? Lucy, do you know why?
On the outer edges, the water moves faster.
The outer edges, the water moves faster. That is correct. And by outer edge, I think you mean the one that's on the outside of the curve rather than on the inside of the curve. Is that right? Okay, so if I draw arrows to represent the velocity of the water, we're going to see that in the middle of the bank we have one velocity. On the inside of the curve we're going to have a slower velocity, and on the outside of the curve we're going to have a higher velocity. The reason this is true is, say we've got horses that are running around a track, right? The inside horse doesn't have to run nearly as fast as the outside horse does if they're going to both cross the finish line at the same time. Now, because we have an equal amount of discharge coming out of this river, we know that these two sides are crossing the finish line at the same time. So for that to happen, we have to have different speeds within the river. So, if you guys remember us talking about how sedimentary rocks are formed, it talks about how water picks up sediment and moves it based on its strength, based on the amount of water moving. So in this case, we're going to have a low velocity, mid velocity, and a high velocity, right? So relatively speaking, the low velocity is going to erode or deposit sediment. Deposit is right because it's weaker, so it's going to drop sediment, where the higher velocity is going to erode, right? The same thing is true as we move down to the other meander bed. Here, we have a slow velocity, moderate velocity, and high velocity. So here, we have these two banks switch names. On the inside, we would have the PointBar. And on the outside, we will have the CutBank, okay? Now, back to the original question of how these things move, it should now become kind of clear that as we have erosion on one side, we're going to have this bank further develop as a meander as it goes away, and on the inside, we're going to have this bank further extend out into the original channel. So as this moves forward in time, these meanders